What's up everyone, June with the Sushi Man, and in this video, I'll teach you some very basic and simple garnish you can add to any sushi platter. It's extremely easy to make and will for sure add some flair and level up your sushi plating skills. Alright, now let's jump right in. As for ingredients, we're only going to be using cucumber, lemon, lime, and some wasabi. That's it. And I like to use English cucumber just because that's mainly what I use to make sushi. But you can make these garnishes with any type of cucumber really. And the wasabi I have here is imitation wasabi that comes in a powder form. You just mix it in with water to make it into this paste, which we're going to shape into small leaves. Now, real wasabi won't work for this. If you're lucky enough to have real wasabi, then just grate it and use it fresh. Don't touch it too much, just keep it simple. And speaking of simplicity, I want to talk about sushi garnish in general really quick. I think adding garnish to enhance the presentation is great, not just for sushi but for any cuisine. However, there should be a balance. Don't overdo it with the garnish where it takes away from the main item, which should be the sushi or sashimi. A garnish should complement the main item, not become the main item. At least in my opinion. Alright, anyways, now let's get into making these. Alright, first, the cucumber, which is one of the most versatile and easiest ingredients to make into garnish. I'm going to show you a few different methods, but they all share the same concept. And of course, the very first thing you want to do is wash and dry this. Now I'm going to use the entire half of this to show you the different ways, but obviously you could cut less. So first I'm going to cut off the very ends. And then we're going to cut this lengthwise right in half. All the way down. Now an important step here is to make sure that you dry the inside of the cucumber with some paper towel. The inside part here is very watery, so it'll slide on the cutting board unless you dry it. So just make sure you wipe it a few times. And also the cutting board. Okay, this first method is by far the easiest and most simplest way you can cut this. And I'm going to start from the right end since I'm right-handed. And we're basically just going to cut crosswise straight down into about 1/8 inch slices. And you want to use this top part of the blade and slide it through the cucumber so that the pieces stay in place. Watch. Now all you do is fan this out nice and evenly. And that is the first most simple way to make this. And I cut about 6-7 slices, but you can keep going or do less depending on how much you need. Now this next one is basically the same thing, but we're just going to cut it at an angle to make longer pieces. So instead of perpendicular like this, we're going to angle the knife and then slice the same way. Watch. And then we just fan this out again. And see, same technique, but now you have some longer, pointier pieces. Now again, this is the simplest and most basic way of doing this. The next technique I'm going to show you is a bit more advanced, but still not too difficult. Alright, so for this, I'm going to use this other half. And first we want to cut off the end, but at an angle. So about there. Just like that. And don't throw this part away. I'll show you what we can do with this in a little bit. Now instead of cutting straight down like the first two, we're going to cut at an angle and towards ourselves with this one. And that's why it's a bit trickier. So when you do this, just make sure you don't put your fingers in the blade's path. You can hold the cucumber like this or like this, whatever is comfortable for you. Just make sure it's out of the way when you're slicing. Okay, and it's the same concept. We're going to make even slices at about 1/8 inch thickness. So follow the same angle and slice all the way through, just like that. And then slide this over just a bit and then do the same thing. Cut, slide. Cut, slide. And then again, same thing. We just fan this out nice and evenly. And there you go. Same concept as the first two, just a little wider and a different way to cut. And usually you want to cut about 7-8 of these at least, so that it looks nice when you fan it out. And you can also turn this around, and then fan it the opposite way, which gives you a different look. And you can mess around with the cutting angles or peel sections of the cucumber first and it'll give you some different designs. So play around with it and see which method you like best. Now this little end piece here, let me show you really quick what we can do with it. So just lay it down like this and make cuts about 1/8 inch thick again. But don't cut through this top part right here. Keep that intact. Watch. And then you can kind of twist this and fan it out. And you get another small garnish. Alright, now let's move on to the lemon. Okay, what I'm going to show you here is how to make a simple, basic lemon cup. I use this for things like ikura, masago, tobiko, or anything that needs to be contained in some sort of vessel. And again, this is washed and dried already. So first we're going to cut this right in half, and make sure you're cutting it crosswise so the ends are facing out. And then we're going to cut off about 1/3 from the end. So right about here. Now take this bigger piece and then we're going to cut out the inside. And we do this by facing the larger side of the lemon towards us and then using the tip of our knife, insert it right there. Right between the white part and the juicy part, whatever this inside part is called. So very carefully stick the knife through and then rotate the lemon while sliding the knife back and forth. Just a little bit though. It doesn't take much to cut. And if you've done it correctly, this inner part should just fall right out. And then we just take this end piece here and put it right in. And there you go. You have yourself a cute little lemon cup. Alright, now let's move on to the lime. So with the lime, I'm going to show you how to make some citrus twists. Or at least that's what I like to call them. These are extremely simple yet elegant, and you can use the same method for other citrus fruits like lemon and oranges. So all we do is cut the lime into thin slices crosswise, again about 1/8 of an inch thick. Now from here, we take each piece and cut halfway right down the middle like that. And then all we do is twist each piece by separating this cut part, just like this. Then do the same for each piece, and then we could put it right next to each other, which makes this cool spiral effect. And that's it. Super simple, right? Alright, the last one is our wasabi leaf. Now again, this was made from powder, which works best to make these leaves. And every brand is a little different, so just follow the instructions on the packaging to get the right consistency. Okay, now I want you to go back to your childhood and remember playing with Play-Doh. Or if you have little ones in the house, that could have been yesterday. Anyways, that's what we're going to do here. But of course, do not let your kids play with this one. That would be bad. So first, grab a small ball of wasabi. And then you kind of want to start shaping it into a leaf. Alright, that looks pretty leafy there to me. Now take something thin like a toothpick or a butter knife. I'm using this metal cocktail pick. And then we press a line right down the center. And then some small lines that come out from that line. Both sides. And there you go. Now, of course you can make more than one or make them into something else. These leaves are simple and elegant, but you can really get creative with it and start making all kinds of stuff. Play-Doh, remember? Now I'm going to make another one really quick. Alright, and there you have it. Good job, guys. Hope you found this video helpful and it's a good introduction to sushi garnishes. And you can really play around with all of these and start making some really cool stuff. And if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about making sushi, then be sure to check out my book. It's called How to Make Sushi at Home, a fundamental guide for beginners and beyond. I teach you simple things like the garnishes we just went through, but more importantly, I teach you how to make sushi step by step. From properly cooking the rice, how to source the fish, cutting sashimi, making nigiri, rolls, I mean the list goes on and on. So if you've always wanted to try make sushi, or you're already started but want to get better, well this book is your answer. I'll leave links in the description below for those that are interested. And now that you've watched this video, go check out this one right over here. Just because YouTube says so. And we all know that YouTube knows us better than we know ourselves. Alright, thanks for watching and feel free to leave any questions or comments below. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more of my content. I'll see you on the next one. ありがとうございます。